Sleuth.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to another Sleuth Intuition Live Conspiracy Hour. Figure we better get it out of our systems, especially with it seeming to be winding down. But I know our opinions vary regards to the double homicide that took place in Delphi, Indiana in 2017. So today, I'm probably going to show two short clips, some examples of people being framed, one actually being an Indiana trooper, the other just an average Joe, just a college kid. So I'm going to use that as the conversation starter. But I just want to welcome everybody who decided to hang out on this Tuesday, April 19th, 2022. I'm glad you were able to make it. I hope everybody's doing okay. Hope everybody's staying positive. You know, when you hear that negative talk, you just brush it off. It's simple. You just go right around it. You know? What's up, Lakeside? What's up, Frank? Purdue. D in the house. Kid, check the rhyme. What's up, player? 1776 up in here. Oh. Yep, Alex Jones, the biggest conspiracy theorist I know of. Mandy. Well, I guess where you're at, it's 420, huh? You guys, I posted the number to call in. That link will bring you into the backstage of the StreamYard. You do not have to be on camera, and you do not have to use your real name. So if you want to call in and maybe try to debunk some of the conspiracy theories we talk about, or if you have some of your theories of your own, or just a few things that you think don't add up, you know, we'll do a lot of speculating today. This is your opportunity to put it out there. Hey, what's up, Joe? You know, and there seems to be a lot of drama lately. You know, there's all this drama with YouTubers and content creators on YouTube. I remember when I would get caught up in that, you know, people would prod and poke at you, you know, and then once you responded, you're already upset. And then that's the response that they would use, like, hey, look how crazy this person is, you know. So I'm seeing the same thing that happened to me happen to other people, and it's just not fun to watch. But the truth is, you know, I brought it on myself. You know, getting involved with these people, befriending them, thinking you can trust these YouTubers. You can't, guys. I'm literally in a small office space with a computer. I have my high def camera and I have a microphone plugged into a computer. You know, you don't know who we are. And I know that some of these people, they take it upon themselves to play vigilante, you know, go out there. Well, we're going to find out who these YouTubers are. But there's some people that are good people. You know, I'm not bad mouthing felons, but I'm proud that I'm not a felon. You know, I'm not a criminal. I'm a family man. And there's people that are out there trying to hurt me. They're behind the scenes throwing my name around, trying to dox me. You know, and there's no way to control that. You know, they have to take the personal responsibility to not to do that. You know, we see the same thing happen to Greeno, but Greeno has to take responsibility for the things that he's, you know, basically left on his record, on his trail. You're going to deal he's going to be dealing with that for the rest of his life. Those are the decisions we make, and that's where the personal responsibility comes in. So he has to bear that. But for people like me who have spent our entire lives trying to be the person to stand up for others, um, sometimes when you're honest and you're yourself, people don't get that because they've been phony their whole life. They get in a group of people and they put on a mask. I don't need to do that, and I don't plan to do that. But to you people out there that are throwing my name around and looking into me, whatever, just remember, you know, karma's a bitch. You're gonna mess around, and somebody's gonna start doing that shit to you. You know, I get the screenshots. I know you're talking shit about me. I don't care. I'm not here for you. I'm here because we're looking into the Delphi case. We're constantly bringing attention to that case. Why? We hate to admit it, but we're obsessed with this case, you know, in an unhealthy way. I'm the first one to admit it. It is extremely unhealthy. It's embarrassing, but we're amongst friends here, you know? So I'm no longer going to be standing with other YouTubers. There might be maybe three that I even trust, you know? And those three know who they are. There's more that I'm learning to trust, but the truth is, everybody that I've ever trusted, they always come with a smile. We hear the devil's in the details. No, the devil's in the small talk, in that sweet talk. Oh, hey, I really like your channel. I like what you're doing. Everybody's coming. They come with a smile. Even Lucifer portrayed himself as an angel of light. That's how they always come. It's always going to be that way. Looks like we do have somebody calling in. Let me check with this caller real quick. Okay. Hi, D. We're going to add D. Hey, how's it going?
Not bad. How are you today?
Good. Oh, did I jump you on there too quick?
Oh, maybe. That
Okay.
was my own fault. I just wanted you to know it was me for sure.
Oh, yeah. I really appreciate that. So, D,
So,
are you
oh,
you calling in to comment on today's topic, conspiracy theories regarding the Delphi case? I'm assuming.
yes.
Okay, let's
I
have it.
just I just want to apologize first for the emails I've sent you.
No, I
I'm
appreciate it.
trying to rise above, but fuck, I just can't see people slam me like that. It hurts my heart
No, I
because I
appreciate it.
obviously think better of you than they do.
Well, I like the information and I like to see it and know it. And it's hard for me not to get caught in all of it. It's just sad. I don't understand. Why are people focused on me? Why aren't they focused on um, victim awareness? In my case, I prefer, uh, I guess, prevention. That's the big advocate. That's what I'm an advocate for, preventing these types of crimes. Why are they talking about me? What do you think it is? What did I do?
Well, I think it's because it's the two people that dislike you very much. Like I started out with, oh, I think I found our leak, but you already have her blocked, so she's not. And it's like that guy just hates you anyways and just picks at everything, brings up old stuff all the time, and it's just
Mm-hmm.
brutal. Anyways, my I don't know if this really has anything to do with conspiracy theory or whatever, but the gingerbread man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, does that guy really have anything to do with Delphi? And if not, why is people banging so hard on other creators who accidentally put a picture up with a child in it? They didn't know the child's picture was in it.
Yeah.
They just
Well, the way
trusted
I see
somebody who
it,
sent them the picture and just opened it and it went like crazy.
well, some people get too involved, you know.
Mm-hmm.
They get too involved and they get behind the scenes and they start sleuthing. But some people are just too obsessive. They try to take ownership of certain information. You know, like just because you found something or you discovered it for the first time doesn't mean you own that information. Information is power. You should be sharing that information. It's not something for you to claim, you know? Um,
Mm-hmm.
so, first of all, there's that obsession you have to be careful with. And then you got to make sure that you don't lack you're a man of your own word. When you attack people and you say you're an advocate for women, but yet you're attacking women, that's strange to me. Another thing is this guy, Big Daddy, he'd been around for a while. He started harassing me pretty much first. And I didn't fall for his shenanigans when he started emailing me. So I think they're just a little salty because they did. Now, the stuff that he was emailing me from his Beleth Gremory, which is the name of two demons or whatever, and he was acting like Bridge
Mm-hmm.
Guy. Of course, we know it's a troll, but there's that 1% chance that we might be dealing with the real deal. If we know anything about true crime, we know that these killers and these sickos, they like to insert themselves into shit. You know what I mean? So, we know it's somebody trolling. We don't really care who it is, but we still don't want to dismiss them blindly. Um, but yeah, he fooled a lot of people. They befriended him. And, thank God for my intuition. I knew what was up when the email started coming. You know what I mean?
He totally infiltrated the Delphi part of the true crime community on YouTube. And he's
Hmm.
in jail now since March 8th. And the other night was just crazy. I feel so bad for Marvelous and Frank. My heart
Hmm.
breaks for them. And just, it's been a, pardon my French for the sensitive people, the shit show that's started since then is crazy. It's nuts. And I apologize for ever saying, oh, you should get a Discord, Sleuth, because it's nuts. It's
And
crazy.
what did I tell you? How
No,
toxic
it's
it was.
toxic as hell. It's toxic.
Because that's where the snakes go. That's the grass. That's the tall grass. The snakes
Yeah,
go in there
I'm
and they
just learning
lurk.
that.
Yeah, and they like to talk behind the scenes, like, oh, guess what? I got Sleuth's full name, let's do this. And they concoct these little schemes. But it's just sad because some of the creators that you guys who are subscribers to me, you guys really trust these guys. And they were able to get your sympathy and like you gotta really, really be careful. Um, like I said, don't go around trusting us. We're just people. We're just like you. The same way this guy infiltrated into the YouTube community is the same way these YouTubers can do it. So, when you start hearing a lot of the bullshit and you start seeing them put on that mask, and they, stuff like that, that's when to kind of take a step back. You don't have to run for your life. Take a step back and say, hey, these are just people too. I have to be cautious. Real quick, D, I'm going to bring on Theresa. She just joined
Sure.
us backstage.
Hey,
Theresa, you there?
yeah, can you hear me?
Hey, yes, you sound great. How's it going?
I'm just so overwhelmed because between Delphi and the summer, I mean, summer case is like nothing we've ever seen with the disgusting, vile drama over there. But what happened to Marvelous? I didn't hear about this. What happened?
No,
People
she
are
just got,
attacking her?
well, people are just upset for her showing a certain image, but at the same time,
Mm,
you shouldn't be giving out this guy's name if you don't want images of him shown. So the person that
yeah,
got mad is the same person that was responsible for everything. And he's getting kind of a dose of his own medicine because the same thing he's getting all this heat right now was the same heat he put on me and he encouraged of others to do, where they take your words out of context,
yep,
and then when other people take those same words out of context, they're not there to correct them. An enemy of an enemy is just going to let those words go right by to the next person.
yeah. And then there's
Purdue, real quick,
people,
Purdue, your device is not connecting, so I'm not sure if you're having an issue with that, but it's not connecting properly. Try to call back in, and I'll let you know if it connects directly.
me or the other lady?
No, Purdue.
Yes, like some people, I won't, everyone will know who the main guy I'm talking about. I won't mention his name. And even in the other cases, they think they own this case. And come on, it's good to disagree. I mean, you can, it's like a group thing. But some people just won't tolerate anybody who doesn't agree with their narrative.
Yeah.
You know,
1 second.
it's just, I'm just disgusted with
Purdue.
both. Hang on, babe. But
Purdue,
who's
can you
it?
hear
Why are
us?
you being attacked? Who's attacking you?
No, I just get different people. Like there's people that they talk about me in their live streams.
Well,
They
you
call
know
me a,
what?
they call me a monster. I get sent
People like
screenshots of
the bullies and the trolls, they're just miserable people. They hate their lives, so they sit there and bully everybody else. So, you know, I wouldn't even feed into their, don't give them any attention. It's
Yep.
not worth it. You know, it's
It's
hard
not.
not to respond, but
And we're not responding. What we're doing is we're staying aware. We're explaining how important it is to stay positive and to avoid that kind of behavior. So we're
right,
definitely, yeah, they mean nothing to us.
right.
Okay. Real quick here. Purdue, are you there? I cannot
Yes,
hear you.
can you hear me?
Yes, hi Purdue. One moment. I also have Frank. Frank,
Frank,
what's
Hey,
up,
Frank.
buddy?
Going on, guys?
Good.
Hey,
What's going on,
Purdue.
guys?
Purdue, what can we do for you? What's on your mind?
Well, one thing that I'm wondering if they know who TK and KK visited in Las Vegas, and he is retired law enforcement. Why are they not 100% on that guy to tell what he knows, what was
I think he's
discussed?
dead. I think he passed away a year and a half ago.
Oh, my goodness.
But
Tisha
yeah,
Burton, scroll all the way up to the top, and there's a link to StreamYard.
so that cop might be the reason they went to Vegas, to go down there and be like, hey, look, we got ourselves into a real pickle here. What do we need to do? And he might have
That's
set him
what I'm
straight and gave him
thinking.
some advice.
Wait a minute, who's the next cop that's related to TK?
No, Tony Kline's buddy was
Okay.
a cop, I think from Peru police officer.
JK.
Well, he
JK,
never
yep.
even got arrested for all those domestics. I mean, it was horrible stuff he did, and they just, don't do that. And they, so obviously he had police on his side somehow.
But
I
Purdue,
do
do you
believe
have?
that. I
Oh,
do
go ahead,
believe the
Frank.
connection is with JK down there in Vegas.
You think he was just kind of like a consultant, like helping him?
It's like I was asking you yesterday about, do you think that JK basically taught T or KK about interrogations on how to get through them and on how to answer questions, how to avoid questions, or
Maybe
try to
not.
flip the script on them like you were talking about yesterday. The dude's
Yep.
smart. There's no doubt about it.
And that's probably why he doesn't want an attorney. He's like, I'm not going to say anything anyway. What do I need an attorney for? It just makes me look guilty. So it's like a strategy.
Anybody with any common sense will keep their mouth shut when it comes to an interrogation.
Yep.
I'm surprised they haven't taken Tony in for any interrogations,
They interviewed him during that search warrant, just like they did Keegan.
Yeah, me and Sleuth had discussed that before. We believe that he's already been interrogated, polygraphed, and everything. So
it's very possible.
Right.
They talked to him when they did the warrant, but.
And I wanted to get to the point of what happened to us on Saturday. It was a unfortunate mistake on Marvelous's part, and we apologize to everybody involved.
I don't know what happened.
Can you tell us what happened?
Yeah, we were doing our list of POIs and comparing them with Detective Steve's findings with the bridge guy, and a certain individual that asked us to pull up a picture that he had sent in a group message through email. Well, we hadn't had a chance to go through it because it was just sent, and we'd already had our script made for the night. Well, when he asked us to pull it up, Jen didn't realize that there was kids in the photo, or Marv, I should say. And as soon as she caught it, she took it down, and then all hell broke loose.
Oh gosh, geez.
Yeah, and I had to put a stop on that real quick through Discord. The gentleman that released this or had this photo, and Sleuth know who it is, he claims that he didn't give it to nobody else, but I went back through the Discord and found a message he had posted saying that he knew of 1 or 2 people that also had the photo. Now, if you say you didn't release that photo to anybody, how did they get the photo if you're the first person to discover who Big Daddy was? You see what I'm saying? So we caught him up in the lie right there, and then all of a sudden, you didn't hear nothing else from him at all on Discord. He tried to be smart and complete his message, and I had already screenshotted it. Like, now, dude, no, try to lie again, because I got a screenshot where you confess to other people and have it in the picture. So, as a person who does research, and I'm on top on all that stuff. If you say something that contradicts what you said before, I've got you right there. So I kept it in my folder in case he came back at us like that.
And he did.
Sleuth, can you drop another
Yeah.
link? Because Tisha is trying to get up here. I told her to go all the way to the top, but
Yeah, it's pinned. It's pinned to the very, very, very top.
And then for somebody else, some other creators going out there and saying that the Big Daddy is not BG, well, I'm here to tell you, nobody has been excluded as a POI. Nobody, except for maybe Ron Logan or a couple other people.
And Big Daddy. Sorry, I asked him in a chat what his theory was, and so he said he'd email me. It was just a few little exchanges, and when this came up, I searched for those emails, and the picture, my profile picture on my Yahoo email has me and my daughter. She was like 9 at the time, and I never even noticed, but he said something like, "Oh, she's a beauty," or something. She said, "She's so beautiful." I never even noticed that he was referring to my daughter.
Yeah, what a creep. And it's like the things that he would say to me, like, I mean, I can show, I think I screenshotted all of it, but he basically would talk like, what do you think they were thinking when I told them to undress once they crossed the creek?
That is creepy.
Yeah, and then he sent me a voice message on my Facebook, and it said "down the hill." And then the second I listened to it, he deleted it.
I wonder if the police talked to him about this.
Well, I know on Royal said he tipped him in with it, and I'm glad he found him, but that's it. Like, you don't have to get obsessed over it. Like, he's obviously just a troll. Most likely has nothing to do with the Delphi case, but there's a chance that he does. I mean, who does that? Who does that kind of thing?
Like JP, I mean, the thing that struck me when he said, it's like, who would say that when he said, well, maybe the girls were desecrating the cemetery? And I was like, what?
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. Like, where does that come from? It's just such a random thing to say. It's just very
some people,
it's suspicious.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah. And I understand some of the other creators are totally pissed off at the fact that we brought up JP again, but you can't exclude him.
Exactly.
I mean, the only person I know of that's had extensive conversations with the gentleman is Sleuth himself.
Yep.
Sleuth would know more than anybody about this guy.
Didn't he have a drone out there?
The problem that I have with that whole situation is, do we know for a fact 100% that he had a polygraph done? Did he absolutely go get mental health treatment? Do we know this?
Yes.
Yes,
he did.
Okay.
He did.
Because the only reason why I brought up about the mental health thing is because the HIPAA laws, nobody's going to know that unless he tells somebody.
And it's not that he was cleared. It was that his family in their mind no longer, because they were convinced that he may be involved. That's the only reason why I was so gung-ho about it, is because I didn't reach out to anybody. His family reached out to me and we're like, oh my God, I finally feel like I can now talk about this. I watched your interview, like, we're freaking out over here. And they just started kind of pouring on all this information. And I had an inside scoop at that point. You know what I mean? And as soon as they were like, you know what? We've dealt with Indiana police. We've turned over evidence. We've interviewed. These are people that didn't refuse to interview early on in the case when Julian was interviewed. They at that point refused. They are now interviewing. So there's all this stuff going on, and it's pulling at my emotions because I had no support. everybody that I considered to have my back, they literally disowned me and I was out on my own. So I tried to stay strong and I tried to see it through the end, and I did. The family was like, look, he did take his poly. He was sent to a mental institution, and we're going to try to give him another chance. And that's when Julian reached out to me personally and said, hey, man, I'm trying to turn my life around. My family's showing me support. Hey, can you take down the interviews that I did on there? It seems to be aggravating some people, or we're getting comments every once in a while about, can you take those down? I said, for you, yes, because the reason they were up, the videos weren't me talking about Julian. The videos were of Julian himself on the video. I mean,
Exactly.
how are you going to castrate me for that? I'm interviewing somebody. You know what I mean?
I had your back. I was pissed when I won't mention the creator was attacking you for that.
They still attack me.
And see, the only problem that what I have with JP is two things caught my eye: is that business he opened up that's 9 blocks from Tony Kline's house,
Mm-hmm.
and then he expanded it out to Vegas. That's what caught my eye. Okay, and Vegas has been brought up in this case for the last how many months?
Mm-hmm.
So I had to go to that angle and look at it.
My only issue with the whole Julian thing is that, and I did speak to Tony Leggett personally. People say that I didn't. Emailed me and we spoke. Okay, I have proof of that. I've showed
You
it to a
spoke to
couple people.
TK?
No, Tony Leggett.
Oh.
Okay, and then I tried to help the family because they were speaking to some people from the state police, and they were having trouble communicating with county police. So they were having a breakdown in communication and they couldn't get any help. Finally, they were able to communicate and said, yes, we requested the information from that guy Sleuth through the interview. We're aware of it. And then they finally started communicating, and that's when he got his polygraph. They even took blood from the guy.
So what do we know about the DNA? Was there enough to get a comparison to anybody?
I feel there's a
I don't
connection
know.
with Shadwell and a connection with these dogs somehow.
Well, somebody
Shadwell,
said something. I can't remember who it was. This is to Frank real quick. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But with the blood, somebody who said, I can't remember who stated, it might have been on a Gray Hughes call-in. Somebody showed me a little snippet, but they were saying maybe there was just too much blood from the victims mixed in with the killer's blood, and it could have caused some issues there.
Right. Which
I
makes sense.
honestly don't think anybody saw Bridge Guy. And then when Dr. Carter was on Dr. Phil or something, he even said nobody saw Bridge Guy. Because think about it, when you're walking around, I don't pay attention. You're not looking at everybody like they're a murderer. I would, if I walked by somebody and then later on found out they murdered, I wouldn't be able to describe anything because I just kind of don't pay attention. And I believed from the day one it was catfishing. I did. And then they said no. I mean, like with Greeno, he'd always say no. But I'm like, well, it just didn't make sense any other way, and it can't be just some random thing. I mean, the guy was prepared on a mission.
And the age group, 14, that's just the perfect age for somebody to fall for that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I was chasing girls all around, talking to girls, that I didn't know, a friend or a family member. Hey, I have a friend. You want to talk to him? And then I would talk to him. Things were different. Things were magical at that age. You could see somebody from across the room and be like, kind of winking at him. Like it was fun. You had all the courage. You had the youth on your side. They did not expect this to happen.
Right.
A couple data points to me is number one, there's no way after hearing that transcript that there's no way that KK does not know who did this.
I agree.
No way. I mean, look at all he's the last person to communicate and where his devices were and on and off and he knows, and you got to ask yourself motive. Why was Libby overkilled apparently horrifically more.
Mhm.
I mean,
Rage.
why? What is the motive for that? Was it a snuff film to get money?
I
And
believe that it was. Sammy
there's got to
Lee,
be
I
a
don't know
reason
how to change
why.
my profile picture. She said I have my son in my picture. I don't know how to change my profile picture. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, but I do totally agree that KK and TK are either indirectly or directly involved in this case.
Agree.
They were saying that that you can't, like, two people can't sign into Snapchat at the same time, and there was like a fight going on, like one of them was signing in, and then another, like maybe KK was signing in, and then TK kept signing in. They were like going back and forth with that. Weird.
Well, that brings me into the only conspiracy theory that's kind of been rolling around in my noggin is maybe somebody, like either a mutual friend of the Klines and Liberty's family, became aware that Tony or Keegan was catfishing. Maybe even somebody involved in law enforcement caught wind of him catfishing those girls, and that's why he chose them for his targets. Because he knew it would be traced back to this guy catfishing them.
Yeah.
And then after the murders, he realizes, hey, they're not catching on to the catfish. I need to go do this whole ski mask thing and send the message, and get their attention on it. Because in the transcript, they even say this is how it all started from the ski mask incident. So that's where my conspiracy comes in, is either law enforcement or a friend of the family. They were picking their targets based off of who these pedophiles were communicating with. That way, when law enforcement did their investigation, it leads directly to those pedophiles who are catfishing, or maybe even a mutual family member, could have done the same thing. That's my conspiracy theory.
I have a question for you guys. What do you think about this? I wish I remember. I had a screenshot somewhere. The day the girls were found, it was a relative of I think a relative of Libby's, apparently had a post on Facebook saying the girls were found in a shack dead. And to me, I'm starting to believe that, because if they were searching on the 13th, why didn't they see the clothing, or I just don't get it. I can understand why they didn't see the bodies over there, but I don't think they were there.
Well, the real search, in my opinion, didn't really start until like around 8ish. You had the panic. You had the real, you had the real panic going on from like 4 to about 5. And then as police start showing up between 5 and 6, then the real search starts happening. So by the time it got dark, they were probably still thinking the girls are just maybe at a friend's house, or
you're not gonna
maybe
think
lost.
kid's dead. I mean, I wouldn't think. You
Mhm.
just think, but and then I heard that nobody even called Anna, Abby's mom, for like 4 or 5 hours. I don't know if that's true, but it's kind of weird.
I heard that too. It was a little upsetting.
I've got a Facebook screenshot of her putting a message out on Facebook saying that the girls have been missing for 3 hours.
Hmm.
So I think that she was well aware prior. I mean, I heard the same thing, that she was not contacted for at least 5 hours, but I've got a screenshot from her posting on Facebook. The girls have been missing for 3 hours. So I'm starting to realize that she knew well before the 5-hour thing.
And hindsight is always 2020. We can always look back and say, oh, we should have done this. We should have done that. Why don't we do this? Why didn't they do that? Because just like the girls weren't expecting this tragedy to happen, all of those people out there looking for those girls were victims too. They
I
didn't see
agree,
it.
but I think
They
we
didn't
have to.
expect.
I think we have to learn. The real tragedy will be if we don't learn from those mistakes. And hopefully, law enforcement has learned that when you have two girls that age missing, you put out an Amber Alert, you do a full on, you don't call off the search. If those were my girls, no, you bring in the dogs, you do everything, you bring in helicopters, you bring in drones. I mean, hopefully that everyone can have learnings from the potential mistakes, like you said, that was not intentional, but the mistakes that were made, and there were many mistakes made. But
I agree.
if we don't learn from those, that's where the real tragedy is. I hope we can all learn and be stronger and know, what would we do? What would we demand? And
Yeah.
those girls had never gone missing for hours at a time and been irresponsible, according to both guardians and the mom. So there's your sign right there. It's just,
One
You
thing
know,
people
with
need
the
to
dog,
Agreed.
understand is that the girls were not, they're, how should I put this? It was not considered a crime scene on the 13th when the girls went missing.
exactly.
And everybody was throwing a fit. Well, why didn't they shut everything down? And da 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 da. Well, they can't because it wasn't a crime scene as far as they were
Right.
concerned at the point at that
Yeah, you're
time.
just gonna be looking for your kid. I mean, so, but the thing with the dogs, when Tobe said he did not need to go get them from Illinois. I read an article, a county in Indiana, they have a
Hamilton County. Hamilton County.
canine. I don't remember what county, but there's dogs in Indiana. This canine found a man on Christmas Day who was lost, and they found him. Why couldn't they go? I know they got they probably have protocols and red tape and stuff, but they could have easily got a canine from Indiana. Why Illinois? It's weird. You'd have to look it up. I can't when I'm on here to like show you the link, but
I know what you're referring to.
Yeah, I read all that too,
and
which
I
didn't
agree
make
with
sense to
you,
me
Sleuth,
either.
that
Why would
KK
they?
is way smarter than we give him credit for. There's other
Mhm.
people that maybe went to school with him that say, oh, he was quiet or he wasn't that swift. When you read that transcript, I agree with you. He's way smarter than
Mhm.
what people give him credit for.
And it's
He's
just like
yeah.
the whole attorney thing. He says, "What do I need an attorney for?" And then everybody, in the public says, "Well, he's not even asking for an attorney. Maybe he's not guilty." There you go.
Right.
That's what he's trying
I
to
don't think he's a bridge guy.
portray.
And
Agree.
Vanessa Marie, you're right. I mean, those dogs could have found them. I mean, and I think they could have found Bridge Guy. I mean, if he was in the search party, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
Okay, guys. For all that called in, get the final word. We're going to clear out this panel. We're going to show some videos, and if you want to call back in after that, we're going to try to see if we can get some new callers in. And then if you want to call back in and end the show together, we can do that. I want to make sure everybody feels comfortable calling in. Okay.
I
I just want to
appreciate
say
having you
one
on
thing, if
there.
that's okay.
You're
I'll be
welcome.
in the chat, buddy.
All right, we'll catch up here in a
All right,
second.
bud. Yep.
Bye.
Okay.
Okay, guys, I posted the call-in link again. That was a great group. And all valid points, all on topic. So let me show a couple of these little clips. I'll post the call-in again. And if nobody else wants to call in, anybody else that wants to finish out on a panel, we can do that. So just give me a moment here. I'm pulling up these video clips here now.
Guilty of killing his wife and children 13 years ago in his third trial for murder. Very unusual case. David Camm had been convicted by 2 juries, but both convictions were overturned. ABC's Lindsay Davis has his story.
The third time was indeed the charm for David Camm. This morning, the man twice found guilty for killing his wife and 2 young children is a free man.
Any thoughts about the verdict?
The former Indiana State Trooper spent more than a decade in prison for a crime he apparently didn't commit. That was the finding of an Indiana jury that came back Thursday with a not guilty verdict on all 3 counts of murder.
This is a man who couldn't even attend his family's funeral because the prosecutor at the time was in such a rush to have a press conference that they had to arrest him. This is complete vindication after 13 horrific years.
Cut this.
Camm has maintained his innocence from his first interrogation 13 years ago. His wife, 7-year-old son, and 5-year-old daughter were found in the garage of their home, shot to death in their car.
You just continue to persecute me. And if it's because I gave my son CPR, then so be it.
In 2005, DNA tied convicted burglar Charles Bonet to the murders. He was sentenced to 225 years for the deaths. But prosecutors argued Bonet and Camm were connected. Twice, Camm was tried and convicted. Both convictions overturned on appeal on the grounds the court allowed inadmissible evidence. But this time, after 88 witnesses and 8 weeks of trial, the jury was not convinced. The prosecutor said even if he could appeal this verdict, he wouldn't. So this morning, David Camm is waking up free and clear for the first time in 13 years. For Good Morning America, Lindsay Davis, ABC News, New York.
Wow. That case blew me away. So the prosecutor was working with the convicted killer to help keep him in prison. That's just crazy in my mind. Took him a third trial. Now this next one is shocking. So after this video, if you guys want to call in, we'll give it about 10 minutes. If nobody calls in, the panel that was up, if you guys want to go ahead and reach back out, and we'll finish our discussion. I just wanted to make sure everybody had an opportunity to call in if they wanted to talk about conspiracy theories or any of the topics that we've kind of mentioned.
Today, for the first time in nearly a decade, Ryan Ferguson woke up a free man, having spent almost all of his 20s in prison for a crime he always maintained he did not commit.
I just hugged my parents, hung out with them for a while, and I knew that I wanted to go to my friend's steakhouse. So steak and family, the second you get out, you can't beat that.
Ferguson was convicted for the brutal murder of beloved journalist Kent Heitholt in 2001. The crime scene outside the newspaper where he worked, littered with physical evidence, bloody footprints, fingerprints, and even hair. But none of it matched Ryan. So how did he end up behind bars in the first place? It certainly wasn't what Ryan told police when he was questioned.
I'm innocent.
Okay, so you're innocent of killing this guy?
I'm innocent of even being there. I'm not involved in this in any way.
Again and again, he denied knowing anything about the murder.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said to you earlier, man. I didn't... Oh my God. You're trying to get me to admit to something I didn't do.
Ryan spoke to us from prison shortly before his release.
You know, I did everything I could to help them. I have nothing to hide. I want to show them that, you know, I got nothing to do with this. Look at the facts. Let me go. I got midterms to study for. It's not about fact or fiction. It's about developing a case against you.
The state calls Charles Erickson.
That case was built almost entirely on the testimony of 2 alleged eyewitnesses. Charles Erickson, a childhood friend of Ryan's, came forward 2 years after the murder, claiming he had dreamlike visions that he and Ryan committed the crime together. But he didn't seem to know many of the crucial details.
Dreamlike visions. That sounds familiar.
Is that right? Yeah. But you don't know what it was? No. Okay.
In his trial testimony, however, he seemed to remember everything.
He was down here and he had a belt, and he had his foot on his back, on the victim's back, and he was pulling up on the belt.
And a second witness, janitor Jerry Trump, identified Ferguson as one of 2 men he saw in the parking lot immediately after the murder.
Would you point to that individual or individuals, please?
Yes.
It was enough for a jury to convict.
The jury found that defendant Ryan William Ferguson guilty of murder in the 2nd degree.
Tonight, we spoke by phone to a member of that jury who asked that we not show his picture or reveal his name. Why did the jury decide to convict Ryan Ferguson?
Probably for me, the two eyewitnesses, Erickson and Jerry Trump, holds a lot of weight in our minds.
Was it unanimous on the jury?
Pretty well, yes. Everybody had the same feeling that because of Mr. Erickson and Mr. Trump, that yes, he was guilty.
But it also turns out the prosecution withheld some crucial information. Ryan's new lawyer is Kathleen Zellner.
Would you state your full name for the record?
Jerry Dwight Trump.
Like the circumstances surrounding janitor Jerry Trump's sudden ability to identify Ryan, and a conversation with Trump's wife that could have undermined his testimony. And then there was another janitor, who the defense team learned later said the two men at the scene were not Ryan Ferguson and Charles Erickson.
I said it wasn't them. I told my boyfriend, I told everybody I knew.
That it wasn't them?
Yeah.
And there were witnesses who could have backed up Ryan's account of when he left a bar that night as well.
There was a witness, saw them right at this point here, saw them walk to the car, they waved, and then Ryan got in the car, made an immediate left-hand turn, and proceeded to take Chuck home.
I felt like nobody listened for the most part, and I think that's the overwhelming feeling. You're just a pawn in the system.
Apparently Ryan's defense attorney didn't help matters either.
I believe if Ryan would have had a better trial lawyer, things might have been a little different. Mr. Rogers was very hard to follow him. He was always fumbling around and just not very with it, I didn't think.
My attorney, he really didn't do a lot of the things that he said he was going to do. He was not personable. He was very dry, and one literally fell asleep while he was talking. You see how the jury is looking, and they're just not responsive.
Right before the jury rendered its verdict,
yes,
were you confident that they were going to come back with a not guilty verdict?
I was not. I think, to a large degree, the jury, they really just wanted to be out of there. They wanted to be done with it. I think they were more concerned with the Cardinals' playoff games.
And then there was the kicker. In the years after that 2005 conviction, both of those crucial prosecution witnesses recanted their testimony. First, Erickson admitted to Ryan's attorney that he had not been truthful.
Things happened much differently than I had previously stated. I regret now that I put an innocent man through that. He didn't deserve it.
Ryan got a new hearing last year, and Erickson then admitted under oath that he lied.
I've lied to everybody.
And then the janitor, the only other eyewitness to implicate Ryan, took the stand and revealed that he too lied at the original trial. A convicted sex offender, Jerry Trump said police pressured him to implicate two young men from a photo.
I'd like to have forgiveness from Ryan.
As you listen to Erickson and Trump at the hearing recant what they'd said during the trial, were you upset, angry, were you relieved?
I was certainly relieved. At the same time, I felt sorry for them and what they'd been through, mostly because, based on the facts and the evidence as I've seen them, they were lied to, they were threatened, and they were manipulated into this position where they have actually destroyed another person's life. The prosecutor, in my humble opinion, took advantage of them. I think it's Prosecutor Crane's responsibility. He still...
Wow. So I guess the moral of the story is, if you can frame a state trooper and somebody who wasn't even at the crime scene, how hard is it going to be to frame a pedophile? It's going to be extremely easy. Posted the number there. So anybody at this point, I don't think we're going to have anybody else call in. Feel free to jump back in. We're going to stay another 15, 20 minutes. So if anybody wants to call in, now's your chance. And we're just going to take a look at the chat here. You heard my conspiracy theory. Maybe the killers were involved in some type of law enforcement or had access to both people, Keegan, Kline, and Liberty. So, hey, Purdue.
Hey.
What's on your mind?
Well, I'm just thinking, those videos you showed were very powerful. And although we're all wanting someone to find the right person is the key and the person responsible for this. And we've had so many potentials when you look back, potential POIs over the past year. But it really seems now that they have targeted, yes, on this pedophile, but the fact that he was communicating with the girls and there was potential drug involvement, and
Hmm.
there's so
Hard
many
drugs.
things that are not coincidence um, with this case. It seems like we're getting so close, and I pray, every day that today will be the day. It's and that we learn lessons. Like I said, I think that's important, Sleuth, because I'm in the
Hmm.
medical profession and somebody comes in with chest pain, it's your heart unless ruled otherwise. You rule out the heart first. And I think if we have cases with young teen girls involved that have never had a history of going MIA for hours, it's a crime scene unless proven otherwise, and you rope it off unless proven otherwise until morning, and it can be secured during the night. So hopefully there will be learnings from this whole thing um, when it's said and done, of things that we have learned because of this. So it's just such a horrific thing. I'm from the area. I grew up in
Okay.
Monon, Indiana, and my dad worked for the railroad. And as a young child, unbeknownst to my parents, I would cross railroad trellises. And how
Hmm.
dangerous is that? And I really identify with this case just here again from being around the area, and being a young child that didn't have the supervision and did things like we all do as kids. And this was before I was a teenager, to go walk a trellis unbeknownst to my mom or dad, not knowing the train schedule, when the train was going to come. You're on that trellis, there's nowhere to go. And
Yep.
although this wasn't an active trellis, as we all know, the Monon High Bridge, it's dangerous. And anybody that's been out there and actually on it, really, it's powerful. It is, that killer had to have prior knowledge. That's a given. That he had to have crossed it before, and he had to know the area. So it was not just a strange trucker that drove in one day
Hmm.
and killed the girls. There's no way. If you go out there, it's isolated. It's hard to find. It's dangerous crossing that trellis, and especially the speed at which he did. Here again, could be fueled by drugs as well, because you get strong and feel you're powerful, and you get this,
Hmm.
people that
Adrenaline.
are involved in that kind of drugs. But they had to have prior knowledge of the area, my opinion.
Absolutely.
TK. Well, didn't Bart say that TK took him fishing there near the Monon High
Yeah.
Bridge?
Yep.
Yes.
I
So
think
that
they
answers
said
that.
he hunted there too.
But what you said, Purdue, leading with expecting the most extreme. That way, if it turns out that it is something like that, you have been preparing from the beginning, and if it's not, it's just kind of like a sigh of relief. I like that.
Yes.
But that's my philosophy. Let's work on preventative measure. That's why I like to talk about the online catfishing, how that happens, how it might take place, what the signs look like. Like my daughter's sick of me every day. I'm like, don't you know anything about the Delphi case? Don't you remember the Delphi case? Like, like when because she's at that age where she's going to be going out with her friends now, and I'm like,
Yeah.
who are you talking to online? Why do you have this app? Don't you know about the Delphi case?
Yeah, I
That's
drive
my
my daughter
answer.
nuts. She's like, she won't even listen to me anymore. She's almost 13, and
Hmm.
it's a small town here. I mean, when I was growing up, there's a train bridge, and we'd go, kids, we'd all go hang out on a train bridge and smoke cigarettes, and but the internet has made us. I mean, we had incidents, where a couple incidents here, even in a small town, with weirdos trying to lure kids into their vehicle. But it's so dangerous today, so different. You gotta talk.
We have to educate our kids to mitigate
Yes.
risk
And check,
and have the
monitor the
conversations.
phone.
What would you do? What would you do if somebody reached out and you didn't know them? Would you talk to someone that you didn't know, that you had never met? And I've got 6 beautiful grandkids, and they're starting at the age where they have phones. And here again, I would clamp down so hard on that with every type of, here again, if the parents are paying for the phone, then they have 100% right to everything that goes on
Yep.
that phone.
And then
Everything.
like Snapchat, I always tell my daughter, you better have, I don't want her to have any social media. Like I would delete it and she'd keep putting it on. But she talks like her dad lives up north and stuff. So I said, keep that. You do not turn on the location, but she would come to me. If somebody she didn't know tried to talk to her, she'd come to me. So it's just
Well,
scary. But now
one
she's
thing
at
that I like to talk to her about is how easy it is to get fooled. They take their
Mhm. They
time.
manipulate.
You could be talking to somebody that you think is a female, and a year and a half later, this is now one of your best friends. She's your pen pal, and she wants to introduce you to her brother all of a sudden, who is actually the same guy, who is the same person. So that's the kind of stuff I like to talk to my daughter about, is the trickiness of it all.
Yes.
The dedication.
They
Hi,
manipulate them. They
Tisha.
threaten them like him.
Let's say hi to Tisha. She's joining. How are you? What's on your mind?
I'm pretty good. I was just calling in because earlier I heard you mention about Marvelous and Frank, and I just recently started watching your channel because of Frank. Me and him are friends, and the other night when they had went live, there was a guy on there. I don't know his name. I can't remember, but he during the middle of the live, he handed that photo over, said, "Look at this photo." So it wasn't like it was planned out, this big long ordeal. It was during the middle of the live, and they get blasted for it, which everybody knows you don't put a child on the internet without permission. I mean, it's just a given. But you would think the person that submitted the photo would have blanked that out instead of handing it over, giving it to him, and then saying, "Oh, I got to run."
Yeah, there was mistakes made by multiple people. It's not something that was done on purpose. It was just mistakes.
Right. And it's what I've learned from working with YouTubers, like, it's a cutthroat world on YouTube. People are jealous, they're vindictive, they're horrible when it comes to, I got one more view than you. And I've contemplated doing YouTube myself, but I don't know that if it's even worth it. I don't know if it's worth it.
Yeah, it's strange. It's a strange place.
I did makeup lives for a long time, and you would get people, I mean, and one makeup live, I had over 4,000 people watching, and yeah, it's great. It's nice. Gives you that little boost of, okay, it's great, but there's always those few people that come on and you're ugly, you're fat, your teeth are this, and the sad part of it all is I don't understand why everybody can't just be friends.
Yeah. Well, it's dangerous too. I follow some preppers, and this woman, she's a prepper, and she bought a new house, and this guy, he looked at all the houses that were for sale in the areas she moved. He tracked down where her house was and showed up at her door. That is scary.
What?
Yeah. Because she was outside her house. You couldn't see the address or anything, but she was excited about her new house. So he went and looked through her area where her houses were for sale. And he looked for the one that looked like hers and showed up at her freaking door. She had a gun, thank God. But yeah.
Well, that's what people are doing to me behind my back. People that you guys watch. Behind the scenes, they're like trying to figure out where I live. They're putting out my first and last name. I just want to ask them publicly, please stop doing that. You know, I've done my best not to talk bad about anybody, not to talk behind the scenes. Please stop trying to hurt me, you know, because you're not going to hurt me. You're just going to hurt the people that I care about. You can't do anything to me.
Yeah,
Like,
you know what? The people that are doing that, it's so funny to me that they're internet warriors and stuff, because
They
if
would never say
you
it
were
to your
to see
face.
them in public, they would act like, no offense, little bitches. And
I'm like, yo, I'll give you my address. Come say it to my freaking face.
right, like if they had the balls, I'd give them my address. They have the
Yep.
balls to come. They better bring a damn army.
Right.
Because
I'm the only man in this
and-
house. I can't, if I'm gone, there's nobody here to protect my girls. So I would never dare do that. But when you give out my name, it's only going
Right.
to take one step from my name to find out where I live. And I'm
Mhm.
here talking about catching, you know, I put faces of child predators all over my channel. Watch out for this person. You know, I don't know how connected these people are. They might use that information and come hurt my family. Do you guys not realize that? So for you that are out there trying to dox me, just stop. I have no ill will towards you. I have no issues. You won't hurt me. There's no way for you to get to me. You're only getting to people, innocent people. So just stop it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was
But let's be honest, like, your name, people know you, and you've put it out there. So the first people that we're going to assume did it, if anything were to happen, are those people. And eventually, karma's a bitch. And if they can outrun it, I really doubt it.
Tisha, we're getting some feedback, so we'll come back to you in a second. I want to go ahead and address what RJ said. He said, I think they got found the night of the 13th, and the crime scene was so bad, law enforcement set up a search for the next day, but that was totally a show to track everyone who showed up and to see who discovered. That could explain the FBI as well.
Sleuth, did you ever hear, okay, the 13th, I think it was the 13th, maybe there was a fireman, and he was telling people they were trying to go over to that area where the girls were, and he was saying, no, go that way. And then they were telling the searchers to stay on the, the other side of where the girls were and walk toward Delphi. They didn't want anybody over on that side where the girls were. That is so weird.
Same with the canoes and Mike Patty. They were all heading from the bridge down towards the town. Tisha, can you give me a little mic check real quick?
What do you want me to do?
No, that's it. You sound
Hello?
good now.
Hello?
Yeah, you sound great.
Okay.
Yeah, you had like some distortion for a second, so I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, I live in the middle of BFE, and then the town of BFE. So it's like, I don't have very good service. So it's like when I call in, it's like, hopefully it works.
Yeah, you sound good now. I think it was just like a bad patch.
I just wanted to call in and say that I support you, and I support anybody that takes the time. I know for a fact I worked doing it for months and months and months, not to even mention his name on YouTube. I won't even give him that satisfaction. But his name's AG, and he's in jail. But I will just say this: I dedicated hours upon hours upon hours upon hours helping, and it's not an easy job. And people take time away from their families. I know Frank is always night doing it. And if my son, God forbid anything were to ever happen to my son, and I had somebody that was dedicating the time that you guys dedicate, I'd be kissing your ass. You know what I mean? Not dragging you through the mud and talking shit and belittling and putting your name out there. I'd be congratulating you and hugging you and thanking you. And
we all slip, we all make
everybody needs to
mistakes,
be
and
a
we
team.
stumble, and we all get caught up in it. But as long as you say, okay, I'm sorry, I apologize for that. Let's move forward. Let's keep talking about Abby and Libby. Let's keep talking about these cases, and let's stop with all that weird stuff,
Well,
100%.
you know what? This community is totally chill compared to that Summer Wells. I mean, it's unbelievable the way them YouTubers are over there. It's disgusting.
Yeah, it's crazy over there.
I've never seen anything like that. You know, I was in the Stephen Avery
I just want
community.
to say that I support you.
What's that?
And then I just want to say that I support anybody that Sleuth, anybody that does YouTube. If you ever need any help,
Thanks,
let me
Tisha.
know. Like, I will help you. And
Yeah, if you
as far as
you know,
the
if I keep
haters, don't hate,
go ahead,
participate.
sorry.
Like, don't hate, participate. You don't want to participate and sell out. And that.
And why are you focusing on YouTubers anyway? Like, we're here to be bringing attention to the cases. Why would you be focusing on me or focusing on other, you know, YouTubers and things like that? Like, that's the part I don't get.
Well, it's like they want to deflect attention from the case. I don't understand that either. You know, my favorite, like, you are awesome. You know, Marvin. But
Ever
you know,
heard the
there's a
phrase
lot
like "misery loves company"?
Yeah, that's exactly true.
I cannot. I try to listen to him, man, and then he starts talking crap about somebody, or I'm like, no, I just can't listen to him.
Honestly,
that's
what it is. Misery loves company.
On my end, all is forgiven. I have no ill will towards anybody. I have no hard feelings towards anybody. So if you're bad mouthing me, you're basically at this point you're just attacking me, you know, for no reason.
Well, they're just miserable individuals. That's all.
There we go.
I mean, I just
right.
can't. Who sits around and trolls like that? I mean,
This is what it is. Misery loves company. They have nothing better to do. They want to. What it is you're amounting to something. You're doing good for yourself. You're putting your name out there to be known that you can do good work. And they're sitting at home miserable, don't have friends, don't have a life. So they have to belittle somebody that's doing good. And that's exactly, if they would take as much effort as they would belittling you and other people to do their own thing, start a YouTube channel themselves, they could probably do good.
Oh, I wanted to see what you got. People I see asking, I always wonder too. Sorry, it's off topic, but how do you think Bridge Guy got to them so fast? I mean, with the way that video clip is, and the way he walks, it's terrifying to think that he might have come up behind them, went past them, and then turned back around.
I think he came from the south end of the bridge too.
That's scary. Is how.
Somebody maybe a taller person, 5'8", 6 foot, around that age, around that height. If this person was high on something, they may not have been concerned with falling. They're just beelining directly towards the reason they're there, and that's maybe fueled by rage. So they're just going super fast, you know?
Yeah, when your adrenaline's like that, it's like you can do anything. I don't know.
Well, ladies, you guys have any final words? Because of time, we are going to wrap it up.
I gotta get dinner made. Little one here.
Okay.
One thing, all I want to say is that I support you and all the other YouTubers that do it, and it takes zero effort to be kind for all the haters out there. So it takes zero effort.
And if you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. Just if you don't like it, don't watch it.
Yeah, just ignore it.
I support you, Sleuth, 100%.
And for all the people that are threatening Sleuth, so you know, we will find out who you are. If anything were to happen to him or his family, we will find out. And that goes for any other YouTuber, because we're all a big tight-knit family. And karma is a bitch. So if anything were to happen to them, you got to deal with me and about 100, 500, 600 other people. So, or more, thousands, because there's thousands of people that watch. So, they just,
and that's not what we're doing
people
here.
that watch and don't say anything. You know,
that's not what we're about here on this channel. We're not going to get
rising above.
Yep.
And I just wanted to say, you know, sometimes I'm chatty and sometimes I'm not. So, you know, but I love your
I'm the same
channel
way.
and I'm always, yeah, I just have anxiety. So sometimes I'm antisocial. I have real bad anxiety.
Yeah, me too. I just say, hey, you know what? You got to do it. Don't let that
Yeah.
anxiety win. Just
I
hit
just
that
want to,
hit
I
that
want to
live
thank you.
button. Go.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Sleuth. I just want to thank you as well for the work you do. You put out quality work and it's based on evidence and what we know. And I think
Great
it's very
content.
helpful, very, very helpful.
Yeah.
And yeah, other people are jealous and other people live in the drama
And
and they think if they create drama, it's like publicity drama is what they're doing.
yeah.
And
And
it's
sleuth
based off
research,
your
sleuth,
success.
it takes a lot of time to do all that research and put it together. And some people don't, they just use other people's content, you know?
I'm gonna do it anyway. Like I said, I'm obsessed with the case, so I'm gonna be doing this research and all this. I'm just sharing it with you guys. Like I'm nothing. I have no experience. I have no clue what I'm
You're
doing.
awesome. I
So
love your
if you guys hang out with me, I'm just one of you guys. That's all it is.
Well, thank you, Sleuth.
Well,
Yeah,
we like people like
All
that.
right,
So
guys. I really appreciate you.
yeah.
Thank
have a good
Tisha,
day, guys.
Purdue, Theresa, D. Thank you guys for joining.
Yep.
No
I'm
problem.
gonna
Thanks
get
for having
again.
me.
My pleasure.
Anytime. I'll be here tomorrow. We'll be doing calls again. I hope to hear from you.
Awesome.
Alrighty. See you
Sounds
tomorrow.
great.
All right, guys.
Have a good
See
night,
you later.
Sleuth Crew.
Take care.
Okay, guys. That was an awesome show. We got into some conspiracies here. We addressed the strange drama going on behind the scenes. We're going to be avoiding that moving forward. Jane, thank you for the super sticker. I think Joe, you had one up there earlier as well. Thank you so much for the support. Remember, it's as easy as going right around it. Okay. You can't be here claiming to be advocating for women and advocating for victims while victimizing people. You understand what that means? You know, you can twist my words all you want, but the truth is, anytime I've said anything, I was being attacked. I don't reach out to people. I don't cyber stalk these people, you know, and from moving forward, I don't trust any of these people, and neither should you, including me. There's no reason for you to trust me. But on this platform, all we're doing is talking about cases and these crimes, and we're trying to figure out what the hell is going on with this. Because if it can happen in Delphi, it can happen in your town, it can happen in your city, it can happen to your family. The only thing that I'm qualified to do is create a platform and try to help prevent these things from happening. First and foremost, in my own family. You know, personal responsibility. And I'm sorry if I ruffled any feathers, you know, talking about the whole incident with the Big Daddy stuff. I really don't care about that whole situation. You know, I'm sorry that you YouTubers got catfished by that guy. I'm sorry that you got threatened by another YouTuber. I don't know what's going on with all that. That's why I don't pay any attention to it. I trust my instincts. And that's why some people, they get blocked. I have to trust my own instincts. And from what I see, they were right. So everybody try to do your best to enjoy your day. Remember to take care of your health. First and foremost, my life has been changing ever since I started paying more attention to my health. You know, I stopped with the nightcaps, the small glasses of whiskey on a Friday night. You know, maybe randomly when I have guests over, I might do something like that. But I've been exercising. I've been eating healthy, spending more time with my family. It really is. Those are rejuvenating activities. You know, try to smile. Even if you feel down and out, if you can vocalize it and you can say something positive like, I'm having a good day, even when you know damn well you're not, just vocalizing it will be the change that you needed. You'll see the power of just vocalizing something like, I'm having a good day. You know, try to convince yourself. So stay positive. Sorry if I ruffled any feathers. All you callers that called in, all my members and my subscribers. Like I said, I really enjoy this channel. I really enjoy being able to talk with all these people from around the world, you strong women who stay involved. You may not have your YouTube channels and things like that, but we all know who you are. You know, you're just as involved as anybody else. But let's stay focused. You know, these YouTubers aren't anything special. They're not qualified to be giving half the advice that they do. They're just somebody with a camera and a microphone, you know? So don't get it twisted. If you like my channel, it's most likely because I try to keep it real. I try to present things to you in the most realistic fashion. If it's a conspiracy theory, we're going to call it one. So I love all you guys. If you hear anybody talking bad about me, just tell them that I said I love them and that karma's a bitch. That's really all we can do. You know, we try to avoid those two-faced snakes out there, but they're everywhere. You know, some are in your family, some are lifelong friends, some are coworkers. You know, some might even be your children. Here in True Crime, we see how corrupt things can be. So just remember that goes for this whole YouTube crazy place. Yeah, it's not a safe place. Hey, Jules, good to see you. Yep. So just remember, we're all feeling fine and we're having a great day, even if we're not. Till the next one, guys, which will probably be the same time tomorrow. I'm starting to like this time. I'll see you then. Take care.
Salute.